Well, look at that. Isn't that sweet? That's an old pie safe sitting here in the Sojourner room out at the Hard Times Guys place, and it's full of stuff that's for sale, tins and crocks, and I see looks like a coffee grinder there, and looks like a nice little weatherhead metal cabinet for storage, and just first one thing and another. There's a couple of bee stings down there, and I want you to take a look at this. Sweet little pie safe, and that's the yard sale price that was on it during my last yard sale. How in the heck is that thing still here? There's some, looks like about 3 multi-paned windows. I'm going to say they got like 16 small panes of glass in them, a lot of dividers, and there in front of it's a mirror. Looks like an old mirror. It's got bevel glass in it, but it's not really old. It's one of those China knockoff things. And then there's some old doors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Looks like maybe 9 old doors, and there's some more back behind there in the dark. Another 6 or 7. Was out and salvaged this stuff. Over on this side, see that blue table under there? It's a big old harvest table. And upside down on top of it is another one. About like it, only it's white and it doesn't have the extra leg in the middle. It's not really a leg, just a 2x4 on that blue one. Doesn't have the extra leg in the middle, and the top of it's not as heavy, and it's painted white. And there's some kind of a, I'm going to call that a crock shelf. You can't really see it all, but that's a one board end on both ends, and that board that's really the back of the thing there is it's one board. That could be turned into a meal bin, or it could just be a crock shelf. It's open on the back side where you can't see it. I just come in from an auction, and I pulled in there to where I usually pull my truck up, and there's a part of an old roll top desk. I'm just going to save the cubbies out of that. On my trailer's all I got on my trailer, and I usually pull up there and crank that trailer jack down on top of that box and unhitch my trailer. But today I'm going to have to unload my truck because my truck's so loaded down that my jack's too tall for that box. So before I can even get my trailer unhitched, I'm going to have to unload some of the stuff that's in my truck. Give you a better look at that roll top desktop and the cubbies that's in it. I'm probably going to either make something out of those cubbies or just take them out of there and sell them like that. A lot of people like to have those, and not too many people like roll top desks anymore. Over here you can see what the problem is in my truck. I got 2 of those big old heavy countertop country store coffee grinders that I bought today, and them things are cast iron and they're heavy, and they got my truck weighted down. The rest of the stuff in that truck's pretty much typical of kind of stuff I buy. There's a couple boxes of tins, there's some old magazines and books, and I don't know, there's some pictures back in there, some signs, some advertising, and there's some Misty stuff in there today. I bought some of the Misty kind of stuff again. I'm going to have to dig that out, and so I'll get it out on the table here in a little bit and you can look at it a little better. Okay, got the truck unloaded and stuff kind of spread out here. That box right there has got a bunch of old books in it. And let's see some of these spools. This box right here, I bought it. That's a Misty box. Probably going to unpack that and show you what's in it, because I bought it because of most of the stuff that's in it's Misty stuff, and I want to show it to you. Right now you can't see anything in there, so we'll go on and then come back to that. That stuff over there is more of the same. It's just stuff that I ended up with. Well, there's tins. I don't know. There's boxes in that one there. It looks like there's some, maybe some little Hot Wheels or that kind of a car down there. Uh, there's some tins. There's some tins. I bought that little chair. There's a Miller Time advertising sign. Not the kind of thing I usually buy because I usually don't buy advertising for alcohol, but there were some really neat pictures in there, so I went ahead and bought that. Over there I had to put a little tape on her before we could even look at her. There's a stack of stuff there. Got some things in it. That's overflow from these things I bought that I hope are Misty things. Yeah, there's something I didn't even know what it was a few months ago. A fairy lamp, and there's a blue swan. There's a little vase. That's something right there, whether I don't know that's a really good thing or just a piece of junk, so I'm going to have to ask somebody about that. It's really pretty. It's got some pretty flowers, and the way it's done, and it's got the glass that's, you know, the impressions that are in it. I kind of liked it. That thing there might have been good before it got chipped on the bottom. Don't know. This stuff right here just ended up being part of it. And of course that stuff there, that's just, I'm pretty sure, junk that I got because it was with this stuff. I had to buy these because of this way the auctioneer was selling choice. If you haven't seen my videos about selling choice, you don't know how much I dislike it. But I wanted that little double barrel shotgun quart gun, and the auctioneer kept calling these BB guns, and of course some of them were BB guns. So he got down, sold choice BB gun 5 or 6 times and got down to these 3 in that quart gun, and he made somebody take all of them at once. Fortunately, nobody wanted BB guns bad enough to make me pay, and I was able to buy all 4 of those at a price where I could afford to do it. I'll probably get all my money back when I sell that Daisy Red Ryder. Well, we've looked around and we've seen what I've been up to here in the last few days, and you've seen some merchandise. Now I'm going to talk to you about selling some of it. I've unpacked that box that you saw earlier, and so we'll use that, the things that were in that, as an example. And there's a few other things too that were sitting here that weren't in the box, but most of that box was chalkware, and so you're going to see it item by item, and we're going to talk about some of the other stuff. And I'm going to talk to you about my philosophy about my customers, the people that come here and try to buy things from me. And even the people that buy things from me at my retail outlets, I treat them the same way when I can. Now, the retail outlet that I do business in mostly is White River Arts and Crafts, south of Bedford, Indiana, on Highway 37 and 50, just across the White River. It's on the left. There's another place in behind there called White River Antiques. Good place to go nose around too. I don't sell things in there, but I do buy things in there occasionally, and nice folks in there. They'll treat you good. There's also a little flea market over to the left of that. And I say little, it's a pretty good sized building. It's pretty packed, and I buy things in there occasionally. So if you're going through Lawrence County and through Bedford, Indiana on Highway 37, or going south, or Highway 50 going west, or if you're coming from the south, you'll be going the other direction on those 2 highways. Good place to just make it a point to try to get there during the open hours and stop in at those places. Alright, let's get back to business. Yesterday, and I think you saw this, there was a cobalt blue swirl blown glass swan. And all in good shape, no chips, blemishes, nothing wrong with it any way, shape, or form. Thing's about, I don't know, probably about 10 inches wide and about 8 inches tall. It's pretty. If you like that kind of thing, I don't really like that kind of thing. I bought it because of Misty paid. I hope to sell it to her, but it's for sale to anybody. And if I were going to retail that, I'd probably try to get about $45 for it. Put it on eBay for about $45 maybe, or I'd put it in my booth. My booth traffic wouldn't stand $45 on it, so I wouldn't even put it down there with that much on it, because it's somebody break a neck off of it before they ever bought it down there. But I think it's worth that. And then along with that, some things I dug out of that box were some other blue things. I see two blue vases over there. I see two candle holders. One of them's an angel. The other one is a crescent moon with a man's face in it. Then there's a cobalt blue bottle and a cobalt blue saucer. And that combination of things, those two blown glass bottles, I'd say are worth $20 for that pair. The angel and the moon candle holders, that's another $20. And then maybe that little bottle and that saucer, $4, something like that. That's the kind of prices I'd try to get for those, like $10 a piece on the 4 of them, and then $2 a piece on the other 2. So, just to give you an example of how I think, if you add up all that blue stuff that I just talked about, and what I said I thought the retail on it might be, and might be a key phrase when I'm talking about stuff like that, because it's not the kind of stuff I deal with normally. But I got a general idea, and you can come along, capitalize on my mistakes when I'm wrong on the low side, and you can just laugh at me when I'm wrong on the high side. So, anyway, I think that's about $89 worth of retail. And if I had one of my customers said, "Look, what would you take for all that blue stuff?" I'd probably say, "Oh, $50." So, you heard the individual price on it. I'd take $50 for the whole lot. Then there's, over there on that table, there's some clear glassware. I think 6 pieces of it, depending on how you count, because there's 3 little goblets, so I count that 1 piece, and a couple of them pieces have got lids, but I just still count them as 1 piece. So the way I'm counting is 6 pieces. I think they're worth about $5 a piece, maybe. That's the kind of price I'd put on them in my booth. I'd stick them on a shelf, put $5 on them. So 6 times 5, that's 30. $30 worth of retail. And if you said, "Look, I'd like to buy all that," I'd say, "Give me about $12." And we'd go from there. Then, another thing that, and you might have saw this yesterday as I was unloading it, I think you did. There's about a 8.5 inch tall amber fairy lamp. And I mentioned that I wouldn't have known what a fairy lamp was 2 or 3 months ago, but Misty, she sells one about every week on her weekly live auction that's on Wednesdays, I think at 1 o'clock. I'm usually at a real auction, not a real auction, but a live auction instead of the internet auction. So I don't get to see her live auction videos live. I do every once in a while catch up on them in the evening. I'll sit there and watch them with my headphones on while my wife and I are watching TV. But fairy lamp, and I bought one. It's about 8.5 inches tall, and there with it is a vase that's dark brown and kind of a chartreuse green, and it's got gold trim around it. It's pretty. And it's marked West Germany on the bottom, so I think that fairy lamp was maybe $15 worth of retail. I know Misty gets more than that for them, but I wouldn't try it. Bedford, Indiana. I'm not going to buy them on purpose unless I can buy them where I think she'll take them off my hands. That other thing, I don't have any idea what it's worth, so I'm going to say it's worth $8. So that pair of things you could buy for $23, and I'd consider that retail and be tickled. And if you come along, somebody I liked and a good customer and wanted to buy them both and made me an offer of $16, $17, you'd own them. So are you getting kind of the picture how I like to sell things? The more you buy, the cheaper it gets. If you're a good customer of mine, you buy a lot of stuff from me, I come try to take care of you. And if I have never met you before, but you come in, you want to buy a whole bunch of stuff, the more stuff you pile up there, the cheaper it gets. In fact, towards the end, I'm practically giving you stuff. I don't think I've ever done this, but maybe I've paid people to take something if they bought a truckload of stuff from me. And then over there too is, I don't even know what it is. I'm going to call it a candy dish. It's really a double dish kind of tied together. It's got kind of a, I don't know, looks like a potato chip the way it's made, you know, kind of waffle around there. It's pink and clear. It's got some kind of flower in it. Look like dogwoods, but they got too many petals on them to be dogwoods. They might be magnolias or something like that. It's got leaves and those flowers, and those are on the outside. And when you see the thing sitting there, you see those flowers through it. But on the outside, if you turn it over, you see them and they're like molded on there. You can feel them and tell what they are without even looking at them. They're flowers and leaves. The thing's really pretty. And that thing is either something that could be worth something, or it's a piece of Chinese junk that ain't worth anything. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. So I haven't put a price on it. When you see that, if any of you know what it is or know anything about it, let me know. It's for sale. But I'm not going to give it away, so I'm going to find out something about it before I sell it. That's the stuff that's over on that table. Now I got some stuff here around me. Let's look at some of this stuff. Right here, I'm looking at 4 chalkware lambs, and all this stuff here is chalkware except one thing. And those lambs look like this. See that little lamb? Got a blue bow. That particular one's white. There's 4 of them. And they're enough alike for you to think they're all alike, but they're enough different for me to say they ain't different. They aren't all alike. They're all a little bit different. They're different colors. There's a white one. There's a light green one. That's kind of a teal green one. You can see what it looks like. Then there's a black one with a white face. They're all in good shape. They've not got any big chips or breaks on them, but as soon as I said that one there's got just a little chip on his foot. But most of them I don't see any chips, and they just got normal chalkware wear on them. You know, they're old and chalk's kind of fragile. But there's 4 of them. I'd put a value on them about $7 a piece. I put those on a shelf in my booth. I'd tag them at $7, and I think they'd sell. I think it wouldn't take long for they'd be gone. If I'm wrong, then they wouldn't sell, and I'd have to mark them down. But I think they'd sell $7 a piece. So that's 4 of them, $28. You walked in here and said, "Look, I'll give you $15 or $16 for them." I'd say, "Hey, hold out my hand." I'd say, "I'll take 16." Then there's 2 more pieces of chalkware, and these are a little bigger than those lambs. They're elephants. I don't know why this is, but I keep hearing Misty say if their trunk's up, they're good, and if their trunk's down, they're bad luck. But I think, that's something she says, and I don't put a whole lot of store in it. But in the case of these 2, I'm going to say if the trunk's up, it's not quite as good as the one with the trunk down. The trunk down, he's got beady little eyes, and he's got his trunk stuck in a bucket there getting him a drink. And, I kind of like him. I think he's cute and different. And the trunk up one, he's kind of nice too. And in fact, if I just held him up like that, you'd say, look, I don't know why you don't like that one better. And then I'd move my hand like this, and I'd show you that little chipped off place on the bottom of him, and I'd say that's why he's chipped. So he's chipped enough that I'm not even going to put a price on him. What I'm going to tell you is that you can buy both of them. I'm selling them as a pair. I'm going to say they're worth $8 as a pair. That'll be my price. I'll put them in a booth. I just say $8 for this pair of elephants. And just like the lambs, I think they'd be gone in just a short period of time. But just like everything else, if you want to buy them here, come in here where I don't have to pay rent, where I don't have to pay 10% on them, and I don't have to do all that kind of stuff. I don't even have to wash them, clean them up if I don't want to. If you buy them here and you're a good customer of mine and you're buying some stuff from me, I'm going to say you could have that pair of elephants for $4. Now I'm looking over here at 3 more things. I'm going to group them. Let's show you the bad one first. Got a squirrel. So, squirrel, chalkware. See, he's got himself all curled around that ashtray. Ashtray, I don't know whether it had black paint at the bottom of it or that's stained from lots of use or what, but that's what it looks like. It's an old chalk ashtray with a squirrel on it, and he's got a problem too. Right there, he's got a chip out of the lip below his foot, and because of that chip, I like him a little better than the elephant that had a chip, because I'm actually going to put a price on him at $3. Then I'm going to show you the boxer. I think that's a boxer. Nice looking boxer. He's looking at you all serene, and he's in good shape. There's nothing wrong with him. He ain't got any chips or chiggers or anything. He's got I don't know, look like a tear running out of one of his eyes. I don't know why it's so sad, but he's in good shape, and so I think he's worth $7. And there again, some of you people might be going, man, where is this guy? And you can't wait to get here to get this stuff because I'm pricing it too cheap. That's all right. That's what I'd price him at. I'd put him in my booth and he'd stay at that price till somebody bought him. Then I got another ashtray, and this one here, it's got a little bit of wear in the ashtray where they tried to scrub that black paint off of it, I think. But other than that, I'm going to call this one a she, and I don't know whether it's a she or not, but Pekingese, they ought to all be she's, I think. They're kind of a wussy little dog. It's got something written on the back of it, and part of it I think says Pekingese, but I'm not sure. And then I think it's got a date, but I can't read it. I don't have my glasses out here. I'm not even going to try to tell you what it says, but I mean, look at her. She's all serene looking. And then on the bottom, this was given to somebody as a gift in 1952. It was from Patty somebody. It was given to, I can't even read who it was given to. But anyway, maybe her dad. I don't know. But Pekingese, ashtray, $10. And there again, that's probably, I mean, that might be a mistake. You probably ought to be trying to get a hold of me. $10 for the Pekingese ashtray. And there again, just to illustrate to you how I treat my customers, if you want all of that, and you added it up, it'd come to $20. But if you're going to take it all from me and you're a good customer, I'd say, why don't you give me about $13 for that? And you could take all 3 of them for $13. Then I've got an 8-inch pitcher over here, and I meant to show you it first, but I didn't, because it's the only thing here. It's not chalkware. It's about 8 inches tall. It's old. It's got a lot of crazing, and it's got some discolored crazing inside it, and it's got some rust on the bottom of it. But other than that, and maybe, yeah, it's got a few little chiggers. You know, it's got kind of a thin base on it, and there's a chigger or two in that base. No big chips that you can just look at and see, and no cracks other than the crazing. But it's got a few little chiggers around the bottom of it. But it's just, you know, it's the kind of thing that some people just really like to have sitting on a shelf. And I don't know, it's the kind of thing that my mother-in-law, before she died, she might have used it on a regular basis. She had a Uhl pitcher, blue cable and grape about that size, and she just used it every day, throwed it around in the sink. I was scared to death she's going to chip that thing. There was one in an antique ball near us that the people thought was worth $750. They was wrong, it wasn't worth that, but it was probably worth $150. And my mother-in-law just threw hers around like it was Tupperware or something. But anyway, there it is. And that old pitcher, because of them chiggers, I'd price that at $10. And I guarantee you that wouldn't last very long sitting on the shelf in my booth at White River Arts and Crafts for $10. Somebody take that home with them. And I've not got that in a group, but I'm going to say this. If you were here and you wanted that pitcher, instead of $10, if you wanted it and you bought something else from me, we'd just group them together and I'd pay that at, say, $5, and you could take it with you as a part of a group. Now we're going to raise our sights a little bit, and again, I'm not ashamed of these prices, but I think these things are worth a little bit more than that other stuff that I've been pricing you, and I suspect I've been pricing it too low. And I suspect maybe these are too low. I don't know. But like I said, if they're too high, you can laugh at me. If they're too low, you can come and get them. But I got 3 more chalkware pieces. I'm going to put them here. You can see you can't see them, but I'm going to put them here anyway, and then I'm going to show them to you. There they stand. This one is what I'm going to call a rotund Cupid. Like a little Cupid doll. Got a big belly, got his hands around it, and he's looking at you like maybe he's got indigestion, or maybe he wished he hadn't eaten that last 4 or 5 cookies or whatever it was. But he's all in good shape. He's got good paint on him. Hadn't got any unusual chips or chiggers for a chalkware piece. There's just a little bitty chip out of the back of his ear. And a little bitty chip right there on the base, but this is chalkware, and you know, for chalkware I'd call that excellent condition. Cupid, the rotund Cupid. I'm going to say I'd want $20 for him or her, I don't know which it is. And then there's a bunny rabbit with a bow tie on. It's the same thing, only it's even in better shape than the Cupid was. I don't see any chiggers on this one. There's some paint missing on it a place or two, but I don't see any chips. Really good shape. He's got kind of look on his face like something wrong with him too. I don't know, just a bad attitude, I think. And he is looks like it could be a bank. In fact, I think it is intended to be a bank. It just not. I think you'd have to take something and open up that slot. But he's got a slot in the back of his head that's not. It's flashed over. It's not open. You couldn't put anything in it. But I think if you took something sharp and kind of gouged that a little bit, you could turn him into a bank. And I'm going to say he's worth $15. Put $15 on him, pretty sure he'd be gone pretty quick. And then the one I like the best, and I don't know whether this is a gal or a guy. He's got curly hair. I'm going to say it's a guy, but it may not be. And I'm going to say it's a sailor because I see something on his cap looks like an anchor. So I'm going to say it's this is a sailor. He's got good color, good condition. And that thing sitting on his shoulder, you think because he's a sailor that'd be a parrot, but it isn't. I think that's a cat. I think he's got a little cat sitting on his shoulder, a little kitten. And I don't know, he's got some kind of little chip out of the back of his leg there, but I'm not going to hold that against him. I'm going to say he's worth $20. So there you have it. 20, 20, 15. I think my math's right, that's $55 worth of chalkware figurines. And there again, you come out here to buy them, you might buy them for, let's make this a real attractive deal. You could buy the 3 of them for $25. $25 for all 3 of them. That's about a little over $8 a piece. I know somebody out there just really wanting them for that. Set them back over out of the way. And I'm going to show you the last one. And I don't know why. That thing's about 11.5 inches tall. It's kind of heavy. It's chalkware, but it's heavier than most, maybe just because it's so big. It's almost a foot tall. He or she's got a little bit of roughness around her nose there. And other than that, good shape. I don't see any other chips or holes or buggers on that one. Misty, she'd be saying poodle snoodle or something like that. I don't know what. When she sells a poodle, she says that same thing. I don't know what it is or what it means. It may mean something to you folks. I don't know, but I'm just going to say it's a poodle, and she would say it's a poodle snoodle. There he is. I don't know. I think it is a she. He's got blue eye mascara on. Must be a she. I guess it could be a guy wearing eye mascara, but I'm going to say it's not. Poodle snoodle. And I'd value that at $35. There it is. I don't have any other group to put it with, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it like I did, what else did I do that with? That picture. I'm valuing this at $35, but if you group it with something else, buy the other group for whatever I said it was worth, I'll throw this in for $25. So that's how I am. I try to make people happy. I try to give people a path to happiness. All right. Now, we said a lot of things to say this. If you add all that up, everything that I talked about, I started out talking about that blue swan over there, and all this stuff, and I said what I thought the retail price for it was, everything but that pink thing. And it comes up to $298. If you've been keeping track and wrote all that down, you add it up, check my math, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. $298 for all that stuff that I just listed that I hauled off that table out of that box. If you come out here and say, Luke, I just watched your video and it tickled me to death to see all that stuff. There's some of it I like, some of it I don't like too much. What would you take if I wanted to buy all of that? Well, I gave you all those numbers, and if you were paying attention to them and wrote them down and added them up, it's $169. So you could buy $298 worth of what I think's retail for $169. That's a heck of a bargain, I think. But because it's everything, and because I want you to believe me when I say I want you to go away happy, I think I'd sell you that for $150. Knock another $19 off of it. Take it all, put it in a box. I got some newspapers. You can wrap it up, put it in a box, take it for $150. And the pink thing, it's for sale, but you're going to have to convince me that if you buy it cheap, you're going to have to convince me that it ain't nothing, and I'd really like to know what it is before I sell it. What you're looking at there is a radiator shell, or some people call that a grill, off a Mack truck. I'm guessing that's somewhere in the 1930s, possibly early 1940s. A little rusty and crusty, but it's the kind of thing we like around here. Got a barn full of stuff like that. Those folks of you that's never been here ought to check it out. Come out and see the Hard Times guy. Watch my videos on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. I don't know what to call this. I guess I'll call it a haul video. That's H-A-U-L. I don't make very many of these. Usually when I do, it's because I'm trying to get Misty out here to take this stuff off my hand. But any of you that see this and want it, I think there'll be some information where you can get a hold of them if you need to. It's all for sale. So let me know what you think. I'm a Hard Times guy.